Welcome back to another episode of Ignite, Empower, Transform, where we talk to and interview urban superheroes in our community. We're back again with Brother Wali. Brother Wali, thanks for coming back.
Pleasure.
Appreciate you. Last conversation we left off with talking about the fire department and how it is one of the greatest in the world, at least in this country for sure, New York City Fire Department. And we were talking about the amount of black fire men and women that aren't as visible. Now, I do know when I was at the African American Day Parade, which I attend every year in Harlem, that there were, I believe it was 3 fire engines rolling with probably about 30 black and or Hispanic, mostly black firemen. A lot of young guys too, which was impressive to me. You were saying you don't see as much, or you don't think the representation is there.
When you're talking, I don't have the numbers, but you're talking about thousands of firemen, thousands, tens of thousands of firemen. Okay, so now I have to give the firemen, especially the black firemen, a lot of credit because they spend years fighting to get blacks into the fire department where they weren't able to get in before. I think last year or the year before they won a suit against the fire department. I don't have all the information on that. I just kind of brought them up as an instance in the community where a truck rolls up and the young people, young Latino and black people in the community stand up and they see people functioning in these well-paying jobs, but yet and still they don't see themselves. So this came from us talking about our youth only living for today.
Gotcha.
Because they can see themselves making, if they stand out on a corner or they sell, if they get into the drug sales and that type of thing, they can see themselves making a few dollars today. Whereas
they don't see the insurance they may need
right,
next week or
right,
next month
right,
because of an accident or something.
Right.
I get you.
You understand?
So with that, we're talking about living for today, and that's the youth of today. That's the Bronx of today.
Yes.
And not all of the Bronx. We want to be clear on that because there are some really beautiful parts of the Bronx. I remember at a town hall that was presented by the Alpha Eagles Boys Club. You were one of the speakers, and you gave a little history about the Bronx. And you talked about 3rd Avenue and what it used to look like and things. It was a very interesting story. It was very interesting points made. I think that's something the audience would like to hear because the Bronx is really looked at as a whole different place.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when I was young, when I first came to the Bronx, we didn't have cars. There wasn't most families in our neighborhood didn't have a car.
Okay.
And my mother used to take me out on Sundays, and the day would be to ride the 3rd Avenue L. So we would take the 3rd Avenue L up to Gun Hill Road, and then from Gun Hill Road, ride that all the way down to South Ferry. Now, people don't even know that the 3rd Avenue L went from Gun Hill Road down 3rd Avenue in the Bronx, crossed over the ridge, went down 3rd Avenue into Manhattan, all the way down to South Ferry. And gradually, they started cutting it off until they completely eliminated it. There used to be trolley cars running up and down like Boston Road and
trolley cars.
Yes.
As in the cars we see on the movies about San Francisco.
San Francisco, wow. The same things. Okay. Matter of fact, those tracks are still in some of these places because they just covered them over.
Right.
Those tracks are still in the street.
Okay.
There used to be a train that went from 167th Street on Jerome Avenue over to 155th Street where the D train is.
Gotcha.
Because the Polo Grounds was there.
I remember.
So you could go from, instead of having to take the bus and get across town, you could take a train that went across town over there.
So you had trolleys going through the Bronx, through the, because the 3rd Avenue and 149th Street, that whole whole hub right there
Yes.
has always been, even since my youth, has always been like a main shopping
Main,
thoroughway.
yes.
My throughway, I should say. My grandmother, that was like the thing to do with
Yes,
the kids. We'd
yes.
get in the car. We did have a car at that point, and we'd go to Third Avenue, and it didn't matter how much you bought. It was a matter of
Right.
walking from one end to the other,
Right.
and just enjoying the stores and the
Right.
people and the vendors and things like that.
And not to say it only costs a nickel or dime.
I don't remember that far back.
Well, I mean, it went up 15 cents, 25 cents, but it wasn't $1.50 or $2.25. That's for
What
sure.
is it now? About $2.75 now to ride,
Yeah,
or something
wow,
like that. Yeah,
wow.
it's really crazy.
Okay, so another thing as far as the neighborhood went, when I was a Cub Scout, Cub Scouts aged from 7 through 10, my mother had no problem of me going from the Bronx on 10th Avenue down to 136th Street in Manhattan by myself.
Wow.
There was a child could do that.
Can't do it these days. You worry yourself.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's a different time. It's
Is
a
it-
really different time.
So I mean and also the area had a lot of culture. A lot of your jazz musicians, a lot of the doo-wops and all of that came from out of those areas. Your doo-wops came because the brothers used to sing in the hallway because the way the hallway was built, it would echo.
Right.
And so they would get in the hallway. They didn't need a microphone.
Right.
You could hear that bass
Right.
echoing there in the hallway.
Their own recording studio.
They had their own.
Wow.
You know, so it was really something. I don't know if you heard of Monk, Cannonball. All of them came through the Bronx.
I knew. One of the things I say, I was about to tell a joke, but I'm not. One of the things I told Hosea when he informed me that we'd be talking is that one of the things I've always done once I got my head screwed on straight is I talked to my elders, my grandparents. I was fortunate to know both sets of grandparents and one of my great grands.
Wow.
And she was born in 1901.
Wow.
So the information that she was able to talk to me about from, the first car and television,
Right.
and refrigerator.
Right.
When I tell these stories to my children now, they're like, "Daddy, you don't know what you're talking about," but I got it firsthand.
Yeah.
I know about not having a running bathroom,
Right.
a running toilet in the house. I know
Right,
that
right.
because she told me
Yeah.
about these different things. So this is always a pleasure for me to sit
Right.
down and hear these stories. And I
Right.
think our youth are missing that. And I think that's one of the things that I'll compare the Bronx to Harlem. In Harlem, you have a lot of the elders who were able to communicate with the children more so than I found in the Bronx.
Well, see, the Bronx, like I said, was constantly transit. There was a period of time when the Bronx was the suburbs and people bought their homes and they moved there and then the kids grew up there. But what ended up happening is that the kids didn't take over the homes of their parents. They let it go, either sold it or just went or however it went, but they didn't hang on to it. So once that happened, then the Bronx became a commercial situation rather than a residential.
So that's where Hunts Point came in
Yeah,
and all those kinds
yes.
of things. Okay.
You understand? When I say commercial, I don't just mean in business. I'm talking about the apartments,
Okay.
the housing,
Okay,
the
okay,
housing
okay,
stock.
okay.
It's not a family house anymore.
Gotcha.
You understand? Now it's
It's the projects, it's the other apartment buildings and things like that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, even the private houses are like not family houses.
Understood. No, I
Right.
definitely understand what you're saying.
Right.
Because again, growing up in the Bronx, I remember it was a little more family oriented than it has been. I really consider the fact that I left the Bronx when I was 16, because in college my first year, and I never really settled back into the Bronx. I've in and out, but it's always been home. Families there, sisters, mom, dad before you passed, cousins before they left the state, period. So I get it, and I'm trying to figure out what we need to do to get all of that back, to try, because every other borough and community seems to be grabbing hold of that now. Even Harlem, even with its gentrification, there are more neighborhoods being developed. The new people that are moving in have become neighbors. Whereas the Bronx, I'm noticing the change in the residential statuses and the buildings that are going up, the renovations. I notice that's changed, but I don't feel it. It's going to become.
Well, it's going to
unit
take,
anymore.
it takes something like this.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an example. There was a kid that got in a lot of trouble. He got into trouble. He got in a fight waiting in front of the school.
Okay.
A parent walked up to him and said, "Stop fighting." And there was some words passed between the two of them. So the parent says, "I don't know who you are." He was older. This is the elementary school, and he's older. He came to pick up his brother.
Gotcha.
So the parent says, "I don't know who you are, and you're not telling me who you are, so I'm going to take your picture in case anything goes wrong." Well, the kid knocked the camera out of her hand. And with that, I don't know, I'm not sure whether he hit her also, but with that, it ended up that the kid, they called the police, right? So happens that the kid worked with this group. Whoa. So I happened to see that. I happened to see all these policemen, 10 cops. And I'm like, what's happening over there? Then I look and I see 10 cops with this little kid that I know with this group. And not just this group, but part of this group.
Okay.
And so I said, well, I got to go find out what's happening here. So I go over, I got the story, this, that, and the other. The kid they put the kid in a hospital. He was on meds and whatnot. And Hosea and myself, we started visiting him in the hospital. And that kind of brought us into the family. And to me, the family was kind of a little loose prior to that. But once they realized that the community, there were people in the community that was concerned about them,
Okay.
I noticed there was a complete change
Okay.
in the family, the actions of the family, and as far as the boy was concerned, a definite change. Was no more of that aggressive feeling that he had. And so I'm saying that to say that it takes these kind of groups that's going to bring family together. This organization here, one of the problems we have is transportation. And we come to the conclusion, hey, we got 5 parents that bring their kids in cars and they leave. Mm-hmm. Well, how come we got a problem with transportation? Right. No, we got to get these parents together.
Right.
You understand? So what it's going to take is to start getting people together under a common cause. Like you say, you go into church, that there has to be a group under a common cause in the church. Right. There has to be a group, common cause in the Scouts, and give back. And this will start to get people working together. My profession at this point is emergency management. Okay. And what my goal is now, our goal is now is to get groups together that are interested in helping people in an emergency. Gotcha. Because you have your group that does what it does, gotcha, and my group that does what it does, gotcha, and that group that does. But
and there's no unity.
There's no unity.
Gotcha. So hold that thought. We're going to have another commercial break, and then we'll pick it up once we come back.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
All right, so we're back from our commercial break. We've had a pretty informative conversation, and I'm really learning a lot from this. What I'd like you to do, because we want to give the audience a chance to speak to some of the young men who are part of the Scouts. Give me a little something more about the Scouts that people may not know and would be an interesting fact.
The Scouts is a volunteer. All your leaders are volunteers. And one of the things is that you think you're training the kids or training the boys, but you're ending up having to train the parents also.
Okay.
You understand? Because like I think I mentioned earlier, that bringing the parents together to form some sort of organizational way that they're going to transport the kids. This week you drive them. Next week I drive them. Okay. Just us working together. The Scouts raises its own money. Mm-hmm. So fundraisers together, people starting to work together, that's the key. Okay. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, in scouting, the scouting is the village. Understood. And then when you go out to camping and you get out of the community and you go like to Alpine and 10 Mile River and some of the other places around, then you start to, the youth and yourself start to mix with people from other cultures, other walks of life, and it really broadens your horizon. Gotcha. And as an adult, I got, from a matter of fact, the best job that I ever had, I got because I was a scout leader, and they put me in the right place at the right time.
And we'll close it on that. Brother Wali, this has been an absolute pleasure. For a second time, you've imparted me with some knowledge. What we're going to do now is we're going to get the cameras over to Rebekah, who will be talking to and interviewing some of the scouts of Unit 777 of the Bronx. Thank you.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hello, my name is Rebekah Gavan. Thank you for watching another segment of Ignite and Power Transform. Today we have boys from Pack 3777. Thank you. Please tell me your name, your age, and what school do you go to?
My name is Darla Reyes. I go to school PS463, and I'm 12 years old.
My name is Justin, and my age is 9, and I go to PS463.
Thank you. What are some activities you've done in the Cub Scouts?
Some activities that were done in the Cub Scout is like we have done scavenger hunts. We learned how to use the compass.
We have tied knots on chairs and try to take them off and try to like pick them up with the knots.
Thank you. What are some trips you've been on?
My Cub Scout friends have been on like hikes. They learned how to like survive in like outside.
We went to the holiday train show and we saw trains going around like a land.
Thank you. Can you recite the Cub Scout oath?
On my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty to guide my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times and to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Thank you. Good job. What is something else you do besides Boy Scout?
I practice with my dad baseball, and we play basketball in our school.
We play basketball with Mr. Gavan, and like there are 4 teams.
Thank you. What are some other experiences you have that you can think of?
Like working with our friends, like in teams. That's how we learn how to work in teams.
We do like separate teams, like he said, and we try to like look for words in the lunchroom. It's like scavenger hunt, like he said.
Thank you. What are some hobbies you do besides basketball, baseball?
I like to do science in class.
I like to do social studies.
Thank you. Who likes Boy Scouts more than school?
I like both because Boy Scouts teaches you something that you could use in school, and school teaches you something that you can use in Boy Scouts.
I like both, and I like school more than Boy Scout because like school helps you learn, like it helps you get like more to college and stuff.
Thank you. What grade are you in?
I'm in 5th grade.
I'm in 3rd.
Thank you. How were you involved in Ignite and Power Transformer Give Back?
We help kids get off the street and play basketball in a gym or do Boy Scouts.
We help kids to like be like more strong and give back to people.
Thank you. How do you give back in your community?
We help other people and we help each other.
We help each other as well.
Thank you. What would you like to be when you grow up?
I would like to be a veterinarian.
I like to be a music producer.
Thank you. How would you like to reach to those careers?
By going to college and finishing my school career.
Finishing my school period as well.
Thank you. Thank you for watching another episode of Ignite, Empower, Transform. See you soon. Take care.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to lose your money. Raise your hand if you want to pay extra for a service when you don't have to. My name is Rebekah, and I'm young mogul at World of Money. Please tell me that you didn't raise your hands. Did you know that millions of people are pouring their money down the drain? They're not doing it on purpose. They're doing it because they didn't know that there are smarter and safer choices. What is a money drain? Yeah, but here's what I mean. Money drains could be in your neighborhood, and they charge extra money for your services you can get for free or at a lower cost from a bank or credit union. There are many money drains like payday loans, check cashing, rent to own, title loans, and pawn shops. But let's just focus on the top 3. Payday loans are illegal in many states like Georgia and New York. Illegal means they don't have permission to be in business. Also Arizona, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Vermont, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C. say, "Go away, money drains!" Check cashing. Places charge about $5 to cash your paycheck. $5 may not seem like much, but it can add up fast. Why not open an account at a bank or credit union and cash a check for free? Rent to own. Okay, this is how it works. Let's say you want a new $400 television, but you don't have the cash. Your local rent to own will let you rent the television for $15.95 per week for 78 weeks. Sounds like a great deal, right? Not! Here's what your $400 TV could cost you. $15.95 times 78 weeks equals $1,244.10. Then you add $62.40 for sales tax, plus a $10 delivery. Now your rental TV costs $1,316.50. My advice, you should save your money until you have the $400. Remember, stay away from money drainers. You can have whatever you want when you save for it. Remember the World of Money motto: learn, earn, save, invest, donate. Time to test your knowledge. Follow us. Instagram @World of Money, Twitter @WorldOfMoneyOrg, Facebook @WorldOfMoney, Periscope @WorldOfMoneyOrg. See you soon!